Hello and welcome folks to Agathos Flight School. My Oculus Rift is now running fine. I have bought a new USB 3 card, and so also the Oculus software still sometimes has a problem identifying the slots correctly as USB 3. Most of the time it does, and so Oculus is running at full power on the USB. So now it's time for some more gameplay. I have today chosen a replay where I fly first the Focke-Wulf A5U12 and after that the Focke-Wulf 190A&D. I will at this point show you the replay in the normal view and comment the fights here in this sortie. After this commented fight section there will be a couple of VR videos I recorded in-game using the shadow play function to show how some of those, how other kills look like on VR and what I do different. The nice thing here with the Focke-Wulf 190 is with VR I really now can play the Focke-Wulf to demonstrate you what I see and what I do not see. Here I set up the first kill. And you see, this was a nice, pretty and clean kill, and now I'm sitting on the back of the P-47. I have chosen to let the icons play, because only that way you can see what I see with my own folks. And you might notice how steady my aim and kill is, and you saw here there was not much movement in. I could easily cut into the P-51, then put on the back on the P-47 and had a good aim, a solid aim, and that in VR with a worse resolution there. What I find really amazing currently using VR is that I do not seem to have any problems aiming, and for some reason I don't know, I hardly use the gun sight for aiming, but more or less I use the entire plane to aim at the enemy. And so I'm currently doing some incredible deflection shots with the FW190 and its cannons, and they are devastating at ranges I could not do without the VR. Another thing I noticed with VR is that there is really a solid situational awareness advanced in the forward section. So let's say in the frontal area and up to 90 degrees left and right. And here I attack a P-51. I'm currently not sure why suddenly the head tracking seems to be lost. Ah, okay, here I go. And now we have head tracking on again. And you see how I try to set up on that P-51. How I do always short turns, and here how I'm elected sitting on his tail. And now even staying behind his 59 line, and as he has rockets I can easily do so, and now I will take a step and stay behind him. And you hear me using flaps. I noticed that using flaps is a nice thing in the FW190 as they deploy at 450 kilometers and then possess a good advantage, especially in the stall characteristics. And now I see I have a P-40 on my tail and have to dodge his guns, and what I now go into is a classic rolling scissors defense where the FW190 really shines at. And you see how I try to track him, and there he comes and he has overshot, and so I settle in behind him, come round, retracting the flaps so I gain energy, going down and putting up the flaps again, and then a lead shot and he's down. And you saw that was a classic and nice rolling scissors defense that works perfectly in the FW190. And let's come back to the situational awareness thing. In the frontal area, I would say from 12 o'clock to the right side to, let's say, 4 o'clock, and on the left side to 8 o'clock, I have noticed, and up to the top, I noticed that my situational awareness has strongly improved with VR, because I can see the dots there, I can see movement there, and there, and you see I come back in behind that P51. Also it's another, and now rolling over on the top, coming back down. And you see he is going down, and there I have something on my tail. And I'm not sure if I can shake this guy. There's a P51 again. And so I try to get behind him, and here I lose control and cannot recover. So you see, I sometimes still lose orientation with VR, and that happened here at that point. So guys, and now I'm taking off in the FW190A&D, and will explain the situational awareness things I noticed with VR. As mentioned, in the forward hemisphere to, I say 4, 5 o'clock on the right, and 8 to 7 o'clock on the left. It's more 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and up to the top, I noticed that my situational awareness has increased a lot. It's easier to spot dots, and it's easier to track targets. I account that to the depth perception. There are still those blending issues with the graphics in front of clouds, but it's easier to track overall a dot that is moving, and especially once the plane is displayed as a plane, due to the depth perception and the plane itself moving in front of the landscape. And so even if you are just having something, a dark dot moving at the edge of the screen, your eye will recognize it like a moving object in real life. Where I have trouble currently is defensive flying. Also the rolling scissors in the FW190 went well again than P40 earlier. I notice it's much more difficult to look back, because you have to turn so far, much farther than with track IR, and because the limited field of view of Oculus Rift of around 100 degrees. And what this leads to is you barely can see enemies on your 6, and this makes it much harder dodging shells. And especially in the P51 I noticed I lost a good deal of defensive capabilities, so currently I have to compensate for this by flying carefully, checking my 6 more often, and earlier going into defensive moves to counter the enemy. And if someone is close, the only option currently for me is really hitting the deck and running to the deck and just trying to avoid being shot down, and hopefully having a very quick plane I can escape the enemy with. And really something I think I need to work on. And so here I come into the D9. You see, one thing is the identification, but I identify this P51, and you will immediately notice I quickly gain, and I'm in plane with that guy, and he's settled on that 6. And now I just stay with him, and I hit him enough that he stalled out and he crashes, so I get a kill. But you see how I could turn with him, and how quickly I actually achieve gun position, and that is due to a new advantage of VR for me, because I'm so good at judging where the enemy is. I can easily fall in behind him and get shots off. And also snapshots seem to be easier. I am really amazed at how shooting is easier in VR. Back to that defensive flying. So currently, if you meet me in combat, you will have a very easy time if you get behind me, because then I'm basically lost, and because I cannot coordinate my defensive flying so far. I think I have to really relearn defensive flying by more assuming that you are on my 6 and that I want to defy your gun solution. And so with looking forward, I will have to use more or less macro defensive flying, things like a rolling scissor where I constantly change my lift vector, so it's hard for you to get a gun solution. But it's a little difficult currently, and I'm not sure how I should handle that. So if any of those guys who already fly in VR has a good tip for me, it's very welcome. Put it in the forum at War Thunder, where I have this flight school thread, or in my way into VR thread. And here I'm using a new tactic for me. I actually have to identify the stop, because in game I only see that this is friendly at around 800 meter. And so I chase him. Once I identified him, I go back up and I look where he's flying to, because I have that feeling there's some enemy close in, but I don't know exactly where that is. And then I see the other dot there. I believe this is the enemy. I go down there, but as you already can see here, it's another bot. And that's a little bit frustrating in VR. As one guy in the forum already wrote, you are often chasing ghosts by friendly dots because the identification is so troublesome. You see the quality here is quite good. Some can identify that Focke-Wulf even without labels, would be able to identify it out to 2 kilometers, but that's not possible in VR. The planes are also, they are shown as planes from say 1.5 kilometer. The difference between fighters is not so great that you can immediately identify them. It's a little bit different for planes like the P-38, which can be easily identified at greater distance, especially if you have a top view. And so in the south I identify a dot that is running low, and probably this time I think this is going to be an enemy. And one thing you might notice here is how my view is actually more centered in the Focke-Wulf. That is one thing I noticed in VR. Automatically you put closer to the middle, and that way you only have that gun sight on your right eye actually. And so here I close in on that guy, and you see I'm already confident at my aiming, and so I try to dispatch him at a large distance. Not really successful. Using tracers is also not the best thing, because the tracers really block your view. But I have the feeling I'm gaining a little bit, and so that dot on the right, the RE is also chasing him, and now he's braking. And so I go in for the kill, and you see how I do a nice lag pursuit. I pull up above that Typhoon and drop back in, having a little trouble because I forgot to pop out the flaps. But there he is, and I can keep track of him. And so I track him, see that I gain, go into position. And you see I start shooting pretty early, because I'm now more confident. But now I'm much closer in. And there I cut off his wing. And this was the 6th kill here. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the Focke-Wulf series now. And as last thing here of that video, we will show you the landing, because landing the Focke-Wulf is now really a joy. and hopefully I did a good one in this sortie. And after that we will switch to some videos showing the VR view of a couple of kills later on the day. So, and here I come in for the landing, I slip in, also something I really like because I now have a good feeling for the altitude, and when I need to end the slip and flare out, the speed is good. I use the gorge in the cockpit, and now you see I slowly start to pull out and having the plane float, holding it and getting more and more of an altitude. And there we, she's down and settles. So folks, with this landing, let's switch to the VR mode videos and show how the kills, some kills look out of the double view. And here we are in the double view. The first is a very quick kill of an enemy attacking one of our German bombers. He's going in, and you will immediately notice I pass out his flight path, and for some reason I have a really good aim here with VR at an extreme distance. And you see, I shoot, and bang, I get the kill. That was, for me, again here came up this, I aim with the complete plane and barely use the gun sight anymore. For some reason I have a really good feeling for aiming with VR. The second then is, I spot a P-38 that is jumping one of our fighters, and I put in behind that P-38, and then I start to turn. Remember, I'm in a FW190A&D, and he actually notices me and then starts to evade. But I have with VR a good way of staying in behind him here. I use a high yo-yo to keep my energy and position on him, and pulling back down on him, putting out flaps. And then I stay in student latitude and shoot both of his wings off. And so again, you saw a quick kill with good position and good shooting. I do those rolls in VR to check my 6, and here the next sequence is I'm back on the D9 and I spot some dots in the distance. As usual, identification is a problem here. And so I get in close and I try to get the best, and I got the right one, put him in front of him, shoot, and you see bang, again a quick kill. Incredible how good my aim is with VR, I can't believe that. And though finally here another flight with a Dora 9. I spot something shooting at me, not sure what it is. I come down on it, pulling in behind, throttling back, and as mentioned, I have a good feeling for the distance. I got some hits in and he's going down, and I get the kill. So folks, see you here at Agathos Flight School with more VR gameplay in the future. Have fun folks, bye bye.